What's up? It's you. All right, who brought this garbage here? We're gonna make our own juice. In fact, we're gonna juice everything. So, Nathaniel, you might ask, why would I make my own juice? I mean, it's super easy to go to the store and get juice, and it's pretty good. All right, well, here's the thing. Most juices you buy in the store are from concentrate, meaning they basically boil down the juice till it's really concentrated, and sometimes they freeze dry it. You lose flavor, right? You lose flavor, breaks down some compounds, so reconstituted fruit juice is never gonna taste quite the same as fresh fruit juice. First of all. Second of all, a lot of fruit juices have a lot of added sugar, and for most juices, you don't need to add a lot of sugar. And finally, you might not even be able to find some of these fruit juices. We're gonna juice, when I say we're juicing everything, we're juicing everything. So I'm fortunate enough to have a really high-powered juicer. It's basically a giant machine that spins stuff down. So it's got this blade, very sharp blade with teeth, and then a sieve on the end, and it spins very, very fast. And so what happens is, as things go down the chute, they get ground up, the liquid shoots out and down, and the pulp, the solids go up and over. So it does a very good job separating out the juice from the pulp. And this doesn't work just for fruits, right? Fruits that you might associate with being juiced, like apples and oranges and things like that. Now, so for citrus, I would recommend a citrus juicer, just because it's more suited to the task. But you can do citrus in here, you just need to peel it first, because that giant thick peel doesn't work well with this. But you can grind greens, you can juice roots. So when I say we're juicing everything, I mean we're juicing everything. And this might be a disaster. But don't worry, because Greg is gonna come along with me, because I'm making him. But first, we need to get juicing. So let me assemble my juicer. And we're ready to go. Now, we figured we'd start with some more traditional fruits that you might juice on your own. What is important, if you're juicing your own stuff, is wash everything very thoroughly, because since you're gonna be ingesting basically everything, you don't want any pesticides or anything on the outside. What's nice about these juicers is generally, you don't need to prep things that much. You can kind of throw everything in there and it'll chew through it. So for apples, you don't need to core them, you don't need to peel them, you just chop them up into appropriately sized chunks and just throw them in there. So that's where we're gonna start. We're gonna start with a little bit of fresh apple juice. So I've got a cutting board just to break down the bigger pieces into smaller pieces. So let's get juicing. First up, we've got some Honeycrisp apples. So that is your fresh apple juice. Now, you will notice when these things come out of the juicer, it's spinning at really high speeds, it's getting a lot of aeration, so a lot of them are gonna come out very foamy. If you just let that sit for a minute, it'll settle. So I'm gonna pour these into bottles for later. As you can see, the foam will probably pour off. We'll not drink that part. But we got our nice apple juice in the bottom. It's mostly clear, right? There's some particulate in there, but most of it just shoots off into the side. So our red apple juice. We're gonna taste these all side by side. So we're gonna put this aside for now. All right, let's juice some Granny Smith apples. I got 3 different kinds of grapes: white grapes, red grapes, and Concord grapes. So we're gonna juice them all and see how they turn out. Now the nice thing about these is no prep needed. I'm just gonna fire up the blender with the juicer and start throwing them in. All right, next up, we're gonna do some stone fruit. Now for the stone fruit, you do need to remove the pit before you put it in the juicer. So I've got some apricots, which I've had apricot jam before, but I don't know if I've ever actually eaten an apricot. So let's try one first. Not a whole lot going on there, if I'm honest. Not bad, just kind of insubstantial. So for stone fruit, you wanna cut it in half along the axis, then twist, and you should see the pit, and should be able to pop that pit right out. Next, I've got some peaches. So same dealio, stone fruit. Gotta de-stone it. All right, nectarines. Got some plums. Now, if you don't have a super fancy juicer, what you can do is you can just put it in a blender, chop it up, put it in a blender, and you might chop it up into smaller chunks. And then depending on how juicy or soft the fruit is, just add like a little bit of water. So if you're doing a watermelon, you don't need to add any extra water. That's juicy enough. If you're doing an apple, I would add some water. And then all you gotta do is just strain it through a cheesecloth or something else, and you can get a decent juice that way. All right, well, we got our juices. We're ready to taste them. I brought producer Greg over. We're gonna rate them from 0 to 10, see how we like them, and let you know how we feel about juicing these things. First, we're gonna start with Honeycrisp apples.
All right, imagine this is gonna taste like apple juice.
It's a really good apple juice.
That's so good.
I give that a 9, just because Honeycrisp is a little on the sweeter side for me, but that's really, really
Yeah,
good.
I mean, I'm with you. Probably a 9. I mean, it's hard to think that it could get better, but yeah, I'm gonna give it a 9.
All right, well, let's see if it gets better with Granny Smith.
So Granny Smith, oh, these are supposed to be a little more tart?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, that's it for me. To me, that's the level of tartness I like.
I think I do like tartness, but I need some sweetness too. I feel like there wasn't enough sweet. I feel like that's
Maybe if you mix them.
It's an 8.5. It was still very good.
That's
I mean,
a 9.5 for me.
Splitting hairs here, but I think I still prefer the first one.
It's a 9.5 for me.
It was good.
So this is white grapes.
All right, grape. I imagine it's gonna be great.
Pretty good. A little on the sweet side for me.
Is this the apple one?
Nope.
Taste it. I think you might have mixed them up.
Nope.
That's grape?
The other one was tart, right?
Yeah.
That's grape for sure.
I just don't even know what I'm tasting anymore. Yeah, I expected them to be more tart, maybe.
Yeah. I don't eat grapes because I'm not a huge fan.
It was okay. I think I would prefer like an actual Welch's grape juice over that, though.
Give it a 7.
Not a thing I would juice. 6.
All right, this is the red grapes.
Red grapes, okay.
Better than the white grape juice, but
It is, but still, I'm not getting much out of these grapes. Maybe I've been lied to my whole life. An actual grape juice that you drink, like juicy juice, like grape juice, is just, it's a completely different thing because this doesn't really taste
it's
like
possible. They do modulate the acidity with citric acid, so they cheat a little bit. So these are very sweet grapes. All right, and lastly, we have the Concord grapes, which look exactly the same. I was expecting the juice to be darker, but it's not.
What's the difference between Concord?
Those are the really dark purple grapes.
Oh,
The ones that make the dark purple jelly. Okay, that tastes more like grape juice to me.
It still doesn't like. I'm giving all the grapes 5.5.
It's possible that the varietals I picked up are not the ones that are used for grape juice. So, who knows? There's a lot of different varieties of grapes.
It tasted like a fruit that was juiced. It was fine. It just wasn't like.
Again, I don't know if I could identify it as a grape because I don't know.
That first apple juice. Nice.
All right, and here's the plum juice. I love the color on this.
All right. Well, this should be interesting.
I can't even imagine what a plum tastes like because I don't think I've ever eaten a plum.
Ooh, it's tart.
Very tart.
It's good, but it's good.
For sure needs to be mixed with something sweet.
Yeah. It's got such a mild flavor.
Yeah,
But
it
I'm
really
kinda
is
just tasting sourness.
It's just kind of sour. It tastes like the peel of a good fruit, but like just the peeling that's like a little sour and bitter.
Yeah.
It was a lot. That was by itself
6 for me.
By itself.
And I like tart things.
5. Yeah, it's just in that realm of like. Yeah, I like tart things as well. It was just there's nothing else going on. What we got here?
Peach. It's pretty good. It's great.
It was great. I like that a lot.
It's not like Sometimes when you buy peach nectar from the store, it's like syrupy.
Yeah.
This is, that's
just
nice.
That's
really good. I like
Very,
that.
very fresh. 8.5.
Give that an
Excellent.
8, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, here is our nectarine.
Nectarine, so like a tangerine.
Ooh,
That's good.
I like that.
Yeah. Well, it's like what is that?
It's good. It's got like a more complex flavor than the peach. It's very similar. Kind of
Yeah.
hits the same flavor profile. It's a little sweeter.
I like that a lot.
It's got that's good. I'd give
I
that.
might like it better than the peach.
Yeah, I think
The
so too.
consistency isn't as nice. The peach was just
Yeah.
like straight up juice. This is a little more.
This is a little. Now the thing is, for all of these, if you don't like the consistency, you can run it either through like a cheesecloth would take care of most of the foam, or if you want to get really, really granular about it, you could do a coffee filter. Just take a little while. And finally, we got our apricot juice. That's more sour than the plum, and it doesn't. That only tastes like sour. It's not very good.
What is that?
That's apricot.
It's just sour.
It's just sour.
It is the sour equivalent.
That's a 3.
Yeah, that
That's
is-
just sour. Now, if you wanted to make something tartar, you could add that in.
That'd be pointless. I didn't rate the nectarine, but I will give it an 8.5 just with the peach. That one, a 3. It's just sour. If there was nothing else in there, I need something else.
Yeah, that was not. That wasn't doing it for me.
Yeah.
So what did we learn? One of the things that I think I discovered, which I'm not a huge fan of apples. I like Granny Smith apples because they're tart, but fresh apple juice is really good.
Yeah, that fresh apple juice was
Really, really good.
was like surprisingly good. The other stuff, the grapes, I
The grapes
think
didn't do it for me.
Normal grape juice that you get at the store, I would prefer that.
I
So
think
like,
so,
I
too.
wouldn't go through the process of juicing a grape.
Yeah,
Not that
that
people are out
didn't
there
seem
doing
worth
that. The peach was surprisingly good.
Peach
The
was good,
nectarine was
nectarine was
good.
good.
So I think we got a pretty good variety of ones that surprised us. The
The plum and the apricot were disappointing.
apricot is a definite no,
Yeah.
and then the apples were as
The
good
apples
as you
were
think
solid.
fresh apple juice would taste. I mean, it was amazing.
It's really
It
good,
was great.
and I mean, you can do a lot. You can make apple cider. You can make drinks with that. Make soda with it.
great.
Fresh apple juice, top tier.
Awesome.
So until next time, I'm your boy amateur pro home chef Nathanael Levinson.
Producer Greg.
Make your own apple juice. Whew.
Bam.